Absolutely. I'm Erin M. I am an event coordinator for iQmetrix out of the Regina office on the marketing team.
Okay, so let's get right to it. We are a software company. What the heck are we doing at coordinating events?
That's a really good question. It's actually funny when people are like, "You work for a tech company, really?" Um, so I think events are so crucial in every single industry. Every type of person can attend some type of event, and events' main purpose is to really bring people together. Whether the secondary purpose is education or networking or inspiration or motivation, the main purpose is bringing a community together. And I think the community that iQmetrix has is quite large. And so I think our events are super crucial to bring people together. And yeah, so I just think events are priorities for all different types of companies. And yeah, so that's why we have an event coordinator for a software company.
Can you tell me a little bit? I know you don't have the whole history or weren't here for the whole history, but can you just sort of give us a history of what iQmetrix events are?
Yeah. So iQmetrix actually has an incredible event community, and I was very lucky to come into it so strong already. So now we host the iQmetrix meetup, but before that it was called Summit. And Summit was an extremely large industry event where we brought all of our clients and partners and our ecosystem together for networking and thought leadership. So Summit happened for, I think it was about 10 years, and then it took a bit of a break and rebranded and came back as the iQmetrix meetup. And so meetup is similar to Summit, thought leadership and networking. And then we also have our client training event, which is the iQmetrix Bootcamp. And that is primarily just our clients, and it's just a user training event. And yeah, iQmetrix event track record is extremely great. We have incredible staff, and so it's really cool for our staff to get to have FaceTime with our ecosystem and to show off how incredible iQmetrix people are. And so that's why our events have been so successful. It's because of our people. And so, yeah.
That's very cool. I want to get to the boot camp experience this year for sure, but I sort of want to lead into it with a more general question about how our events have evolved, because it seems like now that we have a template, we could just run it every year, but that's clearly not the case. You're a very busy person.
Yes.
What are the demands? What do you do? What do you have to deal with?
Oh my goodness. Well, just like every single type of a trend, so you think of like a clothing trend that has to evolve every year. So brands are competing for keeping up with the trends and doing things better and bigger. And that's the exact same thing with events. It cannot be the same every year, because what's to draw them back again? So it starts with the initial great experience of the event, which is the framework that we have already built. And then it's adding additional experiences that are noteworthy and make people come back and make them remember. It's the shock factor of something new or something different. And so, yeah, it's really about adapting to trends and thinking about what can be made a memorable experience to continue the chatter and the excitement of the event after the event is done. And that is so crucial to get people coming back. Events are expensive to attend. They're expensive to host, of course. And so we really need to think about the attendee experience being absolutely incredible so that any price tag is worth it. And so, yeah, as the events and marketing and client experience team, we have to think about that attendee experience and what we're doing different and what we're doing new and exciting, and what's worth it to them. So, yes, every single year it has to change a lot, because like trends, yeah, we have to keep up with the times and just continue making it bigger and better.
That's great. I've often thought that creating great experiences is about creating surprise or
Yes.
unanticipated, because um, you people just get so accustomed to
Yeah.
awesomeness that it's
Hmm.
not actually, it just doesn't feel like a great experience anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
events I realize are often like our premier example of how we do that. Okay,
Absolutely.
like
Yeah.
they're a very tangible, visible example.
Yeah. Like I think of an example before my time, when Tanya Floor was our master event coordinator. They hosted an event and they rented out Petco Park, and had like a hot air balloon and just absolutely extravagant, incredible experience. And to this day, people still talk about that. And that was years ago. So it's about thinking about what those moments can be, and executing on those, to continue, um, yeah, to continue that legacy. And I think events so much are about how you make people feel. And I love events because I think that it's an experience where you have the opportunity to make people so happy and so excited. And so, what little things can you do to impact their feelings or their memories? And so, like a hot air balloon or renting out an entire stadium or something like that, like what shock factor can you give them on top of the secondary purpose of the event, which is thought leadership or training or, you know, 8 hours of sessions? What else can you do outside of that to really create that great experience? So, yeah,
Well,
it's fun.
so I want to talk about your example, not the like the Petco Park one is great, but I think that this most recent boot camp is a very different kind of example. Like
Yes.
you, is it fair to say that you did it like it was an experience again, and like, but it was very different because of the recent challenges like the pandemic stuff?
Oh, absolutely. That was, think about, when we think about how to make a great event experience, it's those personal touches. It's the um, funny things that you can do face to face, or the fun things, or the little gifts you can give people, or, you know, those shock factors that are all in-person experiences. So then to have to move things online and continue that iQmetrix touch was just like, how do we do this? How do we, you know, continue that online and still make people um, want to come back? And people are very understanding of the current circumstances and our virtual event being different. However, every event you have, you still have to make it good enough, great enough, I guess, that people continue to come back. So it was absolutely an interesting thing to have to work around this year, but um, it's just how the event industry is developing, and that's our kind of our new reality. So um, yes, it was very
Well,
interesting.
I'd like to just hear details. Like it, you're really constrained, but like, what did you do that maybe would have stood out to someone?
Oh goodness, that's a really good question. I've actually thought a lot about this, and I think there's so many more things that I would do now, knowing what we were working with. So for this year's boot camp, moving it online, we had about 5 weeks to do this. With that, we also had to figure out what platform we were using. And then once we figured out the platform, it was about learning what that platform could do. So now that we have done it and we know what that platform can do, there's so much more that we can do to add to the experience. But I would say the number one thing that made uh, this year's event a good experience was still our IQers. And I think that that is what it is at all of our events. The relationships that our client experience team have with our clients is absolutely irreplaceable, and it contributes 100% to the experience. And I think that continued online this year. So that was everything from our presenters really practicing their presentations and figuring out how to be engaging through a monitor. And it was, amplifying their jokes and their energy and all of that. And another thing was we had a lot of the client experience team in the chat room. And so when they would see one of their clients hop into the session, they would say, hello, Nevin, it's so nice to see you. It was, so just those personal touches to still make our attendees feel like we were there with them, I think was the number one thing that helped with making it a great experience. I guess so much of it was just the chatter that continued happening. Our clients were incredibly engaged throughout the sessions, and that was because we had everybody in there, hello, or answering questions, or, speakers doing call outs to people that they saw on the sessions. I think it was that engaging experience. And that continued in our breaks. So we had 30-minute breaks within the agenda. And originally I had created this video, and it was just like a PowerPoint slides going through of different stretches, or, a reminder to fill up your water bottle, or just different iQmetrix trivia. And the idea in that was, I was thinking that people are going to use that break time to go do their own thing. And I didn't think people would actually tune into the break. However, we did have people tuning into the break, and they were incredibly engaged, which was so shocking to us. And I was so thankful that we had other IQers that tuned into the break as well, that were engaging back and forth. And it turned into our attendees emailing us photos of the snacks that they were having. And then I would quickly share it on the screen, and we would chat about the funny things they were having. And so, like I said, there's so much more that we could have done to create that great experience. But the number one thing that made it good this year was the engagement that we still continue to have, and how we prioritize those personal conversations, even though it was online rather than in person this year. So, yeah.
I'll tell you what just occurred to me. I think it's just more clarity for me of what's always impressed me with iQmetrix events is iQmetrix's awareness of our brand and what we are for our clients. And so you talk about it like in the engagement and the chat, but every time I see one of these marvelous videos, it also reminds me what our brand is. Like when we've got people singing on these videos, and it's like we just know our brand so well.
Yeah. Really and good. I think a big part of our brand is our people. And that's where that idea of that video came from. We wanted to show attendees that though virtual, we are still there. When we send out surveys after events, or we run into people, around the community, one of the biggest comments that we get is that iQmetrix can throw one heck of a party. And that our people are so amazing, and they love their client managers, or, oh, I love Karma Young so much, she's the best client manager ever. And so it truly is our people, and I think we need to show that off even more than we do. And I think we've always known that, and we've always known that our people are our strongest asset to the success and the experience of our events. But it was even more shown when we were virtual, and we still had that engagement from our clients because they were so attached to our people. So totally agree. Yeah.
Erin, this is pure gold. I love this conversation. I want to, you could obviously, you could talk about this forever. I have to wrap it up, but I have here's my last question. For people that are watching this, either your colleagues or someone just seeing this, wondering about iQmetrix and events, could you speak to them a little bit, maybe in terms of connecting with events at iQmetrix? I'm wondering about like what's really important for them to know, and maybe what challenges are you facing that you need to continue to address?
Oh, that's a good question.
It might be too big, but you're gonna handle it.
Oh goodness. Well, I personally think that events and I know I'm biased, are the most important thing in the world. And I think you can categorize an event as large as meetup, or you also included in events is, you know, coordinating a gathering for your team to have drinks. That is an event. And the reason that events are so important is because an event is an experience. And so I think, although our current state of the world doesn't necessarily allow us to be in person with people and gather in large groups and host a normal event as we would see it, I think we still need to remember that it's still doable wherever you are and whatever circumstances you're in. So I think people still need to remember how important events are for your own soul and for your community and for your brand and everything. And so, yeah, just to not forget about events, small or large, because the main priority of events is bringing the community together, whether it's a community of 4 people or a community of 500. So yeah.
That's marvelous, Erin. I mean, that wasn't lessons about somebody serving you. That was you just helped all of us to think about the experience in the event.
Oh goodness, I
That
just
was
love
very
events.
good.
Thank you.
It shows. Thank you. Thank you so
Yes.
much for your time.
Well,
Erin.
thank you. Thank you for having me.